everyone. I'm Kendra Cook.
And I'm Autumn Shaner.
And this is
Bumper to Bumper.
So thank you all for joining us here on our first episode of Bumper to Bumper. So this is a new web series. It's brought to you by the Boyertown Museum of Historic Vehicles. And every month here on Bumper to Bumper, we're going to look at different pieces in the collection or, other things at the Boyertown Museum. And maybe we'll even go a little beyond just what's within our walls here.
Right. So this is our pilot episode, and for this one, we're doing it in the last week of June here to highlight National Camping Month. We're going to talk about some camping today. In the future, the episodes will air the third Friday of each month. So we want to keep our eyes and our ears out for that, of course, on Facebook and the website. But like I said, today we're going to talk about camping.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about how people camped, where it started, and why the heck we're even talking about it, which is about the Sundowner.
Yes.
Which Kendra's going to touch on a little bit here.
Yeah. So hopefully, really, last year at this time, you visited the museum and you came into the lobby, and the first thing you saw was the Sundowner that Autumn mentioned. So the Sundowner is a 1966 Ford Boyertown Auto Body Works recreational vehicle. If you didn't already know, the Boyertown Museum is housed in what used to be the Boyertown Auto Body Works. Right now we are in the library of the museum, but this used to also be part of the Body Works as well. These were the personnel offices and payroll and HR and things like that. So we live and breathe in these spaces here at the museum, and so do our pieces. And I know one of my favorites has always been the Sundowner. So, like I said, it's a 66 Ford, and the Body Works called their recreational vehicles tour wagons. Yeah. That's the model name that they gave them, and they were really just retooled delivery truck bodies, which is really what made the Boyertown Museum so successful.
That's right.
Was them building these delivery bodies. The tour wagon specifically is based on the merchandiser model, which was their most popular. And they would do this a lot. They would sort of, rework the interiors of an already existing delivery body they had and make it into something a little more specialized. In this case, the tour wagons. So the Sundowner.
This is such a neat book.
I love this great book. So this was on display with the Sundowner when we had it in the lobby, and this was made by the son of the donor. This was donated, the truck was donated by Jack Chapin, and he took his family, all over the country in this tour wagon, and his son Bruce was so sweet and made this memory book for us out of different family photos they had taken over the years. And this is a copy, this is not the original. We made a copy because we wanted people to be able to page through it, our visitors. And they really did enjoy that. And you'll notice, the Sundowner is like a navy blue.
Sure.
Now when it's here at the museum, it is now a two-toned green color. It has been repainted, but this is the same tour wagon, the exact same one. I think some of the later photos in here reflect its new paint scheme. So this book will be on display with the tour wagon. So the next time you come visit us, you'll be able to page through this as well. And keep in mind, though, we are currently still closed at the museum to the public. Of course, we've had this pandemic going on, and we're doing some construction, so now we're kind of moving back to the museum. So we are, as of when this first airs, still closed. But check our website, check our Facebook. We'll put in when we're going to be open, and when you'll come and be able to see the tour wagon. And the tour wagons were really another one of those really innovative vehicles that they built here. And they started those in 1949 is when they started building them, which is pretty early for an RV, specific RV, as opposed to what people used to do, which was, like buy these like tent apparatus to like hook onto the back of an old truck and stuff. So this is really for 1949, a commercially built trail RV is pretty spectacular.
But they were ahead of the game.
They really were.
Boyertown Auto Body Works, because you know, really, people camping in the United States really kicked off really in the late 50s into the 60s. So they really were ahead of times, building these RVs in the 40s. And like Kendra said, people really camped very primitively. Initially, people looked at camping as more for vagabonds or soldiers who would be on the move.
Yep.
And, you know, it really transformed. Initially, camping was for rich people. Okay, let's face it. It started around the 1860s. After the Civil War, there was the economy was booming, and people wanted to escape city life and enjoy Mother Nature. I'm sure there was much more of it than there is today to enjoy, and people went out and they set up these huge, what they called great camps, and they really were great. Started in the Adirondacks, up in upstate New York, and these people had everything: bowling alleys, dance pavilions. Okay, so they really had everything there.
They were really roughing it up there.
Yeah, exactly. Now that was what the wealthy people were doing.
Right.
People like Kendra and I, and more regular people, so to speak, didn't really start camping into maybe the early 1900s, 1910, 1911. The Boy and the Girl Scouts were founded in 1911. And that's really what kicked it off for regular people, so to speak. Now, those people didn't have all the luxuries that the people in the 1880s had, okay? They truly were roughing it, and frankly, it was very hard for women even. They had nothing. So you go from already having nothing in your home, kind of, you know, depending how much money you had, to coming outside. You know, I'm sure their husband's dragging them out there, come camping, and so they can do everything, basically, on the campsite. But it was extremely primitive, and it really blossomed from there. I mean, people started auto camping at that time, which that's really, really cool. You know, around the 1915 or so, people started camping in their vehicles. So they would pop a tent. They'd have their Ford vehicle. They'd pop a tent out back of the vehicle and literally camp in their car. After that, companies like Auto Camp and Pierce Arrow was a big one in the beginning of RVs. They started making more luxury things that we would look familiar to us today. So camping's really come a long way. It's really come a long way.
Yeah.
And it's really neat to learn about how people camped in national parks even.
Yeah.
People really camped in national parks. Like today, you can camp in any national park, but at that time it was just so much more vast, of course, and everything like that. So it's really interesting, and I think we have some photos that popped up throughout this little video here, so you can get a closer look. But it's really quite cool. We really like it. Kendra and I are big fans of the camping.
Yeah, because even the national park system, you know, that didn't really get steam until kind of when you're talking about this beginning. So
yes, it's true.
You know, and people realizing that that's a great resource for them to go back to nature and experience that.
Absolutely.
And then, you know, with the car, obviously you can go further.
Yes.
In a shorter amount of time.
You're not relying on the railroad.
Or that, yeah. You
That's
can get
the
a little
thing.
more off the beaten path that way.
Yes. And I mean, a lot of these cars could rough it, and you know, they could get through some terrain. Might have to change 5 tires on the way, but you know, you were getting there.
Well.
So it's really quite cool, and we have a lot of information when we do open back up on this topic, and we look forward to educating you when you come into the museum.
Yeah. This is really cool. So. Obviously, I know you and I could go a lot more in depth on this.
Of course, yes, like everything. Yeah.
It's hard to get us to stop talking, but we're gonna stop talking now, and we're gonna wrap up this episode. But we plan on being back next month.
Yep, for July. We're doing Christmas in July.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about our sleighs,
and hopefully it won't be as stinking hot out there as
yes.
it is now. So. Awesome.
Yeah,
so we'll
thank you.
See you all in July, and keep checking in. And like Autumn said, third Friday of every month, the Boyertown Museum will put out a new episode. So
yeah, check our Facebook, website, Instagram. We're really active on social media, and thank you. Thanks for following us and tuning in today.
See ya.
See ya.